This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Roll number 1. All of you please unmute your devices so that you can give your attendance. Roll number 1. Roll number 1. All of you unmute your devices, please. Am I audible or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah, then
ma'am.
ask them to unmute the devices. I'm taking attendance right now. Roll number 1. Two. Number 2. 3.
Present, ma'am. Number 3
4.
Present, ma'am. 4 present, ma'am.
5.
5 present, ma'am.
6.
6 present, ma'am.
7.
7 present, ma'am.
8.
8 present, ma'am.
9.
9 present, ma'am.
10.
9 present.
Number 10. 11. 12.
11
12
present,
present,
ma'am.
ma'am.
11 present, ma'am.
12
12.
present, ma'am. 12 present,
13
ma'am.
present, ma'am. 13
14.
present, ma'am.
14 present, ma'am.
15.
15 present, ma'am.
16. 17.
17 present, ma'am. I'm 6.
18.
18 present, ma'am.
19.
Present, ma'am.
20.
I'm 16 present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
21.
20 present, ma'am.
Okay. 21. 22.
22 present, ma'am.
23.
23 present, ma'am.
24.
Ma'am, roll number 2 present, ma'am.
24 present,
24.
ma'am. Present, ma'am.
25.
Present, ma'am.
26.
26 present, ma'am.
27.
27 present, ma'am.
28.
28 present, ma'am.
29.
29 present, ma'am.
30.
30 present, ma'am.
31. 31. 32. 33.
33 present, ma'am.
32 present, ma'am.
33.
33 present, ma'am.
34.
34 present, ma'am.
35.
35 present, ma'am.
36.
Present, ma'am.
37.
Present, ma'am.
38.
Present, ma'am.
39. 40.
40 present, ma'am.
41.
41 present, ma'am.
42.
42 present, ma'am.
43. 44.
44 present, ma'am.
45.
Present, ma'am. 45 present, ma'am.
46. 47.
Present, ma'am.
48, 49,
Present, ma'am.
50,
50 present, ma'am.
51.
51
48 present, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. 48
51.
present. Okay,
10
51.
present, ma'am.
Ma'am, 43.
Ma'am, roll number 2 also present. Ma'am.
Wait, after you can give your attendance if you have missed, okay? Now tell me 41, 51,
51 present, ma'am.
52,
52 present, ma'am.
53,
53 present, ma'am.
54, 55,
55 present, ma'am.
56,
56 present, ma'am.
57,
57 present, ma'am.
58,
58 present, ma'am.
59,
59 present, ma'am.
60,
60 present, ma'am.
61,
61 present, ma'am.
62,
62 present, ma'am.
63,
Present, ma'am.
64, 65,
65 present, ma'am.
66,
66 present, ma'am.
67,
67 present, ma'am.
68, 69,
69 present, ma'am.
70,
70 present, ma'am.
71,
Present, ma'am.
72, 73,
73 present, ma'am.
74,
74 present, ma'am.
75,
75 present, ma'am.
76,
76 present, ma'am.
77,
77 present, ma'am.
78, 79,
79 present, ma'am.
80, 81,
Present, ma'am.
82,
Present, ma'am.
83,
83 present, ma'am.
84, 85,
Present, ma'am.
86,
Present, ma'am.
87.
87 present, ma'am.
84 present, ma'am.
Who is 86? 87,
87 present,
84.
ma'am.
88,
88 present, ma'am.
89, 90,
90 present, ma'am.
91,
91 present, ma'am.
92,
92 present, ma'am.
93,
93 present, ma'am.
94,
94 present, ma'am.
95,
95 present, ma'am.
96,
96 present, ma'am.
97,
27 present, ma'am. 98 present, ma'am.
99,
99 present, ma'am.
100,
100 present, ma'am.
101,
101 present, ma'am.
102,
102 present, ma'am.
3,
103 present.
103,
103 present, ma'am.
104,
104 present, ma'am.
105,
105 present, ma'am.
106,
Present, ma'am.
7,
107 present, ma'am.
108,
Present, ma'am.
9, 109, 110,
Present, ma'am.
111,
Present, ma'am.
111,
111 present, ma'am.
112,
Present, ma'am.
13,
Present, madam.
14, 115,
Present, ma'am.
116,
Present, ma'am.
17,
Present, ma'am.
117. Is it 117?
Present, ma'am.
118,
Present, ma'am.
119,
Present, ma'am.
120,
Present, ma'am.
121,
Present, ma'am.
22,
Present, ma'am.
23,
123 present, ma'am.
24,
124 present, ma'am.
25,
124 present, ma'am.
26,
Present, ma'am.
27,
127 present, ma'am.
128,
128 present, ma'am.
129,
129 present, ma'am.
30, 130,
130 present, ma'am.
131,
131 present, ma'am.
32,
Present, ma'am.
33,
Present, ma'am.
34,
Present, ma'am.
35,
Present, ma'am.
36,
Present, ma'am.
37, 38,
Present, ma'am.
39, 40,
Present, ma'am. 140.
41, 42, 143,
143 present, ma'am.
44,
144 present, ma'am.
45,
140 present, ma'am.
46,
Ma'am, 140.
146,
Present, ma'am.
147,
Present, ma'am.
48,
148 present, ma'am.
149.
Present, ma'am.
Your numbers are till 156. Your numbers are till
154, ma'am.
154. Okay, 146 is present. 149,
Present, ma'am.
150,
Present, ma'am.
51,
Present, ma'am.
52,
Present, ma'am.
53,
Present, ma'am.
54.
153
Let's
present, ma'am.
continue with the class. Later we see about the attendance. Okay, let's
84
continue the
present,
class.
ma'am.
Already
Ma'am,
late.
114
present, ma'am.
84 present,
One,
ma'am.
you're
Ma'am,
late.
54
No, why
present,
are you so late?
39
1
present,
present,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, okay. I'll tell the numbers late. No, absentees I'll announce later so that you can transfer it if you
Referred batch
want it.
115, 141 present, ma'am.
I'll take the attendance again, ma. Don't worry, okay?
Okay, okay.
So today's topic is bacterial corneal ulcer. I think it is already covered for you people, but it's like a revision class. So what is the picture you are seeing here? You have seen some, you're seeing some picture here. Okay. So you can see this part. So this is the ulcer part. Okay, this whitish part which you are seeing is the ulcer part. Okay, and here you can see this elevated which is in the anterior chamber. You can see this part is this is iris and this is cornea. If you draw a diagram like this is the cornea and here will be the iris like this, right? So where here will be the lens, where the hypopyon will be, this is the anterior chamber, right? So here the hypopyon will be, which is settled down in the anterior chamber. This complete part is, it gets settled down here in the anterior chamber. This is called as hypopyon. So any pus in the anterior chamber is called as hypopyon, and any pus in the anterior chamber is hypopyon, and any blood in the anterior chamber, it is called as hyphema. Okay, so these are viva questions. What is hypopyon and what is hyphema? These are viva questions. Okay, here again you can see some lines like this. whitish lines. These are called as, you know, the layers of the cornea. One of the layers is descemet membrane. Membrane folds because of changes in the curvature in the cornea because of this ulcer, and due to pressure variations and even due to the imbibition of fluid into the Descemet's layer, there will be formation of Descemet's folds. These whitish layers lines are called as Descemet's folds. Okay, these are the some of the features of bacterial corneal ulcer with hypopyon. You can see here, this is the hypopyon. Okay, so what is the definition of ulcer? It is all common for everything, even in surgery or wherever it is. Loss of epithelium with some inflammation is called as corneal ulcer. Okay, so there will be breach in the epithelium. There will be a breach in the epithelium. Okay, there will be host cellular immunological responses which may be due to bacteria, fungal, viral, protozoal, whatever may be the organism, there will be formation of corneal ulcer. So it is usually straight threatening if you don't treat the patient promptly, and it is an ocular emergency. It is an ocular emergency. Okay. So what is the normal defense mechanisms the cornea will have? These are the normal defense mechanism. In these defense mechanisms, there will be some abnormality which leads to invasion of the bacteria into the layers of the cornea. So what is a normal defense mechanism you have? The corneal epithelium is the first one, which is a mechanical barrier and will not allow any debris, any organisms or any dust, whatever it is, it will not allow all these things to enter into the eye. Okay, and the second one is conjunctiva. This is another protective mechanism which will have cellular and chemical components which will protect the eyeball. And the most important thing is the tear film. All these things are the ocular defense systems which are present in the eyeball. So barriers for microbial infection depending upon the anatomy, there is the bony orbital rim, eyelids which will protect the eyeballs, intact cornea and conjunctival epithelium. These are the barriers which will not allow the microbial organisms to enter into the eyeball to lead to infection. Okay, so coming to mechanical, tear film, which is very important, and the lacrimal system, the whole system will protect the eyeball from the infections. There are some antimicrobial agents which will protect the eyeball, like tear film constitutes immunoglobulin A, which is very important. Okay, and lysozyme enzymes, lactoferrin enzyme, beta lysine enzyme, all these things will have antibacterial effects. Okay, so if the patient has to develop a corneal ulcer, there should be some predisposing factors which will aggravate the corneal ulcer formation. Okay, the first one is trauma, especially breach in the corneal epithelium. I told you breach in the epithelium itself is an ulcer. So breach in the corneal epithelium will lead to formation of the ulcer. Okay, so after there is breach, there will be inoculation of the organism leading to ulcer. Whatever may be bacteria, fungi, viri, protozoal, whatever it is, it gets inoculated into the corneal through the corneal epithelial breach. Then coming to eyelids and adnexal diseases, if there is some blepharitis, that is inflammation of the glands, ectropion, entropion, trichiasis, lag of thalmus, chronic dactylcystitis. So I told you that there are some protective mechanisms for the eyeball, right? One, I told you that the eyelids, I will take the inside structures of the eyeball. So when there is ectropion means outward turning of the eyelid. It is not the eyeball. Always remember, it is outward turning of the eyelid. Okay, there will be outward turning of the eyelid. Then it is called as ectropia. So when there is outward turning of the eyelid, the lid will get everted outwards. So there will be protection towards the eye will reduce. In the same way, entropion means inward turning of the eyelid. Okay, so trichiasis means you will have eyelashes, right? You will have eyelashes. These eyelashes will change the direction of the normal eyelashes. They will get the direction of the normal eyelashes will change. Okay, for example, what I will tell you. Give me a sec. So you can see normally this is cornea and here will be the lower eyelid, right? If there is inward and the lashes directed like this. Like this, the eyelashes will be directed. Okay. If there is inward turning of the eyelid, that is entropion, then what happens? These eyelashes will not be like this, and they will go change the direction and they will touch the cornea like this. There will be inward turning of the eyelashes and they will touch the cornea like this, and they will be continuously rubbing of these eyelashes onto the cornea, causing some friction, which leads to epithelial breach. Okay, so these will be rubbing on the cornea, and because of the friction and rubbing, the epithelial breach will ensue, and followed that there will be inoculation of the organisms. In the same way, lag ophthalmos, which is seen in some nerve palsies, in this there will be the lid movement will not be proper, so there will be more exposure to the organisms. So if there is any disturbance with all these conditions, there will be disturbance in the tear film, and there will be recurrent epithelial erosions. Erosions means breach in the epithelium. So there will be recurrent epithelial erosions. Okay. So next one is, these are all some more predisposing factors, ocular surface disorders, which will cause dryness. That will be, there will be deficiency in the tear film and they will call dry eyes. In these all conditions, there will be ocular surface dryness, which leads to, I told you that tear film is one of the protective mechanism. These will lead to bacterial ulcers or whatever may be the ulcer. Okay, contact lens. Most common thing is contamination of the fluid which we use to clean the contact lens. Okay, if you use more time contact lens, if you use it beyond the time needed, then there will be corneal hypoxia. There will be no supply of oxygen to the cornea, which leads to corneal decompensation, and the structure of the cornea alters, which further leads to ulcer formation. So all contact lens users be very careful with your solution, which is very important. Always check the expiry date while you are purchasing. Local immunosuppression due to some topical corticosteroids, there will be immunity decreased. Ocular surgeries like cataract and LASIK, this is very rare, but yes, sometimes we can see these conditions. So next one is, some systemic factors will be there which also lead to corneal ulcer formation, where immunosuppression like AIDS, systemic steroids, diabetes, malnutrition, chronic alcoholism, these are all some systemic factors. So what is the basic etiology? What is the basic etiology? Usually there are few pathogens, even though the corneal epithelium is intact, they will enter into the corneal layers. These three organisms is very important, which will enter into the intact corneal epithelium. Okay, so one is Neisseria gonorrhea, the second one is Cornybacterium diphtheria, and the third one is Neisseria meningitis. These three will invade the intact epithelium. Okay, so if there is corneal epithelial damage, how the epithelial damage will occur? Maybe due to some abrasions, like some injury with your fingernail tip, or sometimes some injury with some pencil or something like that, there will be corneal abrasions. Epithelial drying, all dry eye diseases will lead to corneal epithelial damage. Necrosis of the epithelium, desquamation of the epithelial cells, and epithelial damage due to some tropic changes, all these things may lead to corneal epithelial damage, which will further lead to corneal ulceration. So what is the pathogenesis? First, there will be, I told you that there will be corneal abrasion. So the microbes adhere to the epithelium, they release some toxins and lytic enzymes. So because of host response, there will be polymorphonuclear cells at the site of ulcer, which will be released from the tears and the limbal cells. Limbal means the junction between the cornea and the conjunctiva. There will be a junction from the vessels of the limbus. They will release some polymorphonuclear cells. Release of cytokines and interleukins will be there. Further progressive invasion of cornea and increase in the size of the ulcer will occur. So the ulcer size increases because more invasion of the cornea. Now ensures this one will ensure, that is the phagocytosis. So there will be release of free radicals and proteolytic enzymes. This leads to necrosis and sloughing of the epithelium first, then the Bowman's membrane and the anterior stroma, then the deeper layers of the stroma also. So what happens when all the necrosis happens? There will be a saucer shape defect. There will be a punched out lesion like thing, which is with the protecting walls above the normal surface due to tissue swelling because of imbibition of the corneal stroma. So these are there are various stages for formation of the corneal ulcer. There are 4 stages. The first stage is the stage of progressive infiltration. So the organism enters, adherence of organisms to the breached epithelium. There is, I told you, there will be corneal abrasion or breach in the epithelium. These organisms will go and attach to the breached epithelium. Then further, it will invade the stroma. First, they will enter the epithelium, then the Bowman's layer, then the next followed by the stroma. First anterior stroma, then the deeper layers of the stroma. So what happens? There, PNMs and lymphocyte infiltrates into the stroma and the epithelium both. Okay, so they release toxins and enzymes. This is all about stage of progressive infiltration. There will be infiltration will progress continuously. So next one is stage of active ulceration. So now what happens in the stage 2, there will be necrosis. In stage 2, necrosis starts. Okay, so there will be sloughing of the epithelium and stroma. Ulcer borders thicken due to infiltration and edema. Okay, so there will be release of toxins into the anterior chamber also because of inflammation of the iris. Okay. Okay, sometimes along with it you can see iridocyclitis also, but usually we don't. But sometimes we can see some cells and flare. And the third stage is stage of regression. I told you there will be natural host, then the natural host defense mechanisms, and by the time we will already start the treatment. Because of this, the ulcer starts to regress. Okay, here it is very important to remember that there will be a line of demarcation around the ulcer which contains leukocytes with phagocyte organisms and necrotic debris. So line of demarcation, this is the Viva question. We will ask where the line of demarcation will be. It is in the stage of regression. Okay, so what happens? Necrotic material fall off and the ulcer becomes larger. Infiltration and the swelling reduces and slowly disappear, and margin and floor becomes smooth. Now what happens in the stage of regression? The second point to remember is vascularization develops from the limbus. If you see, this is the cornea and here is the ulcer. From the limbus to the ulcer, there will be vascularization like this from the limbus. Okay, to supply some antibiotics and to give some nutrition. Okay, so the two important you should remember in the stage of regression is, that is, line of demarcation, and second one is vascularization. These two develop in the stage of regression. And the final stage is a stage of healing or cicatrization. Vascularization is followed by cicatrization due to formation of some fibrous tissues and collagen regeneration. So these newly formed fibers are not arranged in the normal as they are present in the normal corneal tissue. So what happens? They are arranged irregularly. They are not arranged in a regular pattern. Okay, so normal stromal fibers, how they are arranged, these fibers are not arranged like this. They will be arranged in a different pattern. That's because of this, there will be formation of a opacity. You can see here, whitish opacity is there. This is formation of the opacity. So corneal ulcer almost always leads to corneal opacity formation. Okay, so if it is a central corneal opacity, then there will be decrease in the visual acuity because it is obstructing the light rays. Okay, so various types of opacities, corneal opacities, you can see nebular, macular, leukomatous, and adherent leukoma. These are the 4 types of opacities we see. Okay, the first one is nebular, which is a, it will have only a little bit of the stroma involved. The second one is macular, and the third one is leukomatous, that is more than 3/4 of the corneal stroma is involved. Sorry, the corneal thickness is involved. And adherent leukoma, you can see completely it is involving the whole cornea, adherent leukoma, and you can see the iris is got entrapped into the opacity here. Okay, adherent leukoma means iris gets adhered to the corneal opacity here. Okay, so this is adherent leukoma. So what are the clinical features? It depends upon the virulence of the organism, duration of the infection, pre-existing corneal conditions like dry eyes, immune status of the host, and any use of local steroids. So how the patient presents to you with diminished vision, watering, photophobia, pain, discharge, redness, congestion, all these things. Okay, so when a patient comes to you like that, first you have to take a detailed history We have to see any prior ocular history, if the patient is using any treatment, if the patient had any treatment for any glaucoma or any cataract surgery he underwent, or if you want to, you have to ask if he is having any history of dry eyes also. And even systemic history we have to take. Okay, now you have to go with ocular examination once history part is completed. So what are the ocular examination we have to do? First thing, we have to check the visual acuity. Definitely it will be reduced. Then you have to see the slit lamp examination. You can see the lids are edematous. You can even see here the lids are edematous, and you can see the conjunctiva how red it is. Okay, so this is called a ciliary congestion. And in cornea, you have to see where the ulcer is, whether it is central. If this is cornea, this is central, this is paracentral, and this is peripheral. Okay, or you have to see whether it is the whole cornea is involved. Okay, so this where the location of the ulcer is very important, and you have to see the size, shape, depth, margins, and floor of the ulcers, and you have to decide where the ulcer, in which stage the ulcer is. Okay, if you see, you have to see any stromal infiltration. I told you there will be opacities like this. These opacities you have to check for. Also in the anterior chamber, you have to see hypopyon cells, flare, all these things. Okay, and you have to search for any iritis. What are the other investigations you are supposed to do? Always a patient with ulcer, test for sac syringing. That is, you have to go for, you have to see lacrimal apparatus patency. Okay, and corneal sensations, usually the corneal sensations are reduced in viral keratitis. And fluorescein staining you have to do. There will be a strip like thing. You have to keep it in the lower conjunctival sac like this, and just keep it for 10 seconds and remove it. Later you have to see in the slit lamp with a blue filter. In slit lamp there will be a blue filter. Change the filter to blue filter, that is the light will become bluish in color. Then this fluorescent stain will appear as greenish color. Okay, so that you can understand where the extent of the, what is the extent of the ulcer, you are able to identify properly. Okay, so after that, you want to know what type of, yes, clinically you can somehow make whether it is fungal, viral or bacterial. But yes, you have to see if it is a multi-organism like viral and fungal both combined, or what it is. So for that, what we are supposed to do, we have to go for corneal scrapings. You have to take a blade like this. You have to scrape on the ulcer. Okay, you have to include surrounding 2 mm clear cornea also. Okay, surrounding, if the ulcer is present here, till only here, you have to scrape on the ulcer first, then surrounding 2 mm also you have to scrape a little bit. Okay, and you have to keep it on the culture to send, and send the this thing for culture sensitivity. Okay, so there is grading of the corneal ulcer. This is recently introduced. You have to see whether it is mild, moderate, or severe, depending upon the size, the depth, stromal infiltration, and scleral involvement. Sometimes the ulcer will extend onto the sclera also. So size, if it is less than 2 mm, then it is okay, mild. If the depth is only 20% or less than 20%, yes, it is mild. You have to see the stromal infiltrate, whether it is dense or it is superficial. Then depending upon all these things, we will grade the ulcer as mild, moderate, and severe. So there are some specific features for the streptococcal, gonococcal, pneumococcal, all these things. Okay, but I think this one we will not deal it now. Now, complications of corneal ulcer. What happens if we don't treat the corneal ulcer? Okay, so what happens? Sorry. So what happens if we don't treat the ulcer? It will spread, right? Either it is horizontally or vertically, both ways it will spread. If it spreads vertically, it will further lead to thinning of the cornea. Okay, so second one is desmetocele. What is desmetocele? This appears as transparent vesicle surrounded by grayish zone. What happens? You know what is the thickness of the cornea? If you think this is the thickness of the cornea, okay, now if you don't treat the ulcer, it extends vertically deeper into the layers of the cornea. What happens? That there will be thinning of the cornea. In spite of having this much width, the cornea will reduce its width. Okay, sorry. The cornea will reduce its width. There will be reduction in the width of the cornea. So now what happens? The pressure inside, I told you that there will be intraocular pressure. There will be changes in this intraocular pressure. So what happens? The iris will come like this. Here there will be iris, right? Sorry for the bad diagrams. Here there will be iris, so it will get tugged like this. Okay, and further what happens, it will come like this and it will bulge. You can see here there will be thinning of the cornea. Only the endothelium is left over here. All this cornea will be lost. All this cornea will be lost here. Only there will be thinning of the cornea. Okay, only this, like this it will be. Okay, this superficial layer all will be necrotized. Okay, so now what happens? Because of pressure ingredients, the iris will get tugged like this, and you can see here there is iris also. Here you can see this small part, you can see this is iris. Okay, so this is called as impending perforation of the cornea. If you don't treat the patient at this stage, definitely there will be rupture of the cornea. It will get, this layer also will get necrotized and it will rupture like this, and there will be outward. I'll show you the diagram. So iris will come out like this. Okay, so this is called as desmetosome. Okay, so because of there will be superficial thinning of the cornea followed by pressure changes, the iris will tug like this and it bulges out like this. This is called as impending perforation. Next stage is perforation of the cornea. I told you that if there is increase in the intraocular pressure because of some sneezing, coughing, or whatever, some straining is there, okay, then there will be perforation of the cornea. Here you can see iris came out completely like this. This is called as perforation of the cornea. There will be peripheral perforation, central perforation, whatever it is, there will be perforation of the cornea if you don't treat the patient. Now, investigations, corneal scraping, I already showed you. You have to go for gram staining, culture and sensitivity. Okay, culture of the contact lenses and the solution if the patient is using so, and routine investigations like HIV, hemogram is needed. So what is the treatment for uncomplicated ulcer? Uncomplicated means there is no desmetosome, there is no impending perforation, there is no nothing like that. Then what are the treatment? Okay, so we have to first hospitalize the patient. First hospitalize the patient and then ask the patient to take proper care. Just 1 second. So first, treat the underlying cause or the predisposing factor. If the patient is having dry eyes, ask the patient to use some tear drops and ointment also. So we are supposed to give for antibacterial drugs which are fortified along with normal antibiotics also. So there are two types of fortified antibiotics. That is, one is cephalosporin and the second one is aminoglycoside like tobramycin. Okay, so cephalosporin is for gram positive coca. I'll show you a table of this. Just 1 second. See, so if you take a culture, there is no organism, then the drugs recommended are cefuroxime and tobramycin or ciprofloxacin. But if there is gram positive cocci, you can go with cefuroxime, or other treatment options are vancomycin and tobramycin. If there is a gram negative cocci, cefuroxime, or other alternative drugs are ciprofloxacin. Gram negative bacilli, go with the tobramycin, which is more useful. Otherwise, other alternative drugs, gentamicin or floxacin. Now, recently they are using moxifloxacin, which is very effective. We can use moxifloxacin. Gram negative diplobacilli, cefuroxime, and fortified ceftriaxone. These are all the treatment options for various types of organisms. So, fluorophenolines, which is very important, systemic antibiotics, fluorophenoquins, whether they are needed or not, there are few indications when to start oral systemic antibiotics. Okay, so severe keratitis, when sclera is involved, when there is a big hypopyon, if the impending perforation is there, frank perforation with risk of intraocular spread, infection in children, and Pseudomonas aeruginosa infection, all these conditions we are supposed to start oral treatment also. So along with antibiotic therapy, you're supposed to give some additional treatment, that is adjuvant therapy for corneal ulcer. So what are the adjuvant therapy we use? Cycloplegic, most important drug, which is very important to reduce the inflammation and also to reduce the pain in a patient. Okay, so always start with some cycloplegic. Okay. They also prevent Synec formation because there will be some iritis. There be chances of this formation, Synec formation. To break this Synec also, we have to use cycloplegics. So analgesic for anti-inflammatory, which is to reduce the pain, oral vitamin C, and acetazolamide, which is an anti-glaucoma drug. Why you use that? Just to reduce the intraocular pressure. I told you if there is impending perforation, then we have to definitely start with acetazolamide. So you have given the treatment and you want to know assess the healing, whether the ulcer is healing or not. So if the ulcer is healing, congestion, first thing is that congestion reduces, symptoms will be less, the ulcer spread, that is increase in the size, all these things will reduce, the edges will become rounded. So slowly hypopyon also will decrease and later it disappears. The surrounding area around the ulcer will also become clear and edema also will reduce. So these points will tell you whether the ulcer is healing or not. Okay, so you can see here hypopyon is there, corneal edema is there, surrounding edema is there. You can see DM folds, Descemet's membrane folds are there, all these things are there. So this is healing ulcer. You can see hypopyon reduced. See how congested it is here, but even here the congestion reduced and there is no edema here. Only ulcer part opacity is there, edema is not there, hypopyon reduced. So these two pictures will tell you whether the ulcer is active or and how the healing ulcer will appear. Okay, what to do if the patient's ulcer is not healing? First, you have to check for compliance. That's the reason previously they used to admit all the ulcer cases and treat with as an inpatient. But nowadays we are not doing that because of some issues. So always check for the compliance. Okay, if needed, change the antibiotic as per the culture report, because culture report will take about 3 days to come. Prior, you have to start the antibiotic. Once the culture report comes, you change the antibiotic. So resistance to even fluoroquinolones are now developing all these days. So always change the antibiotic if you are using fluoroquinolones, because it is developing resistance these days. Okay, so decision regarding keratoplasty, which is called as therapeutic keratoplasty, must be taken before the ulcer reaches the peripheral cornea. See, you know, this is if the ulcer is here, before it reaches the peripheral cornea, you have to do therapeutic keratoplasty. So what are the treatment for complicated ulcers like impending perforation? Straining should be avoided. Ask the patient not to cough, sneeze, strain. Okay, to all these things you ask the patient to avoid. A pressure bandage should be kept so that there will be no more fluctuations in the intraocular pressure. Lower the IOP by giving acetazolamide and acetazolamide tablet and timolol drops. Tissue adhesive glue. I told you that desmetocil will be like this. Pupil is here. If you see that there is here the desmetocil, you have to apply a tissue adhesive glue over it like this. There will be a special glue made up of cyanoacrylate. This glue will keep the desmetocil down and it will not allow the ulcer to desmetocil to rupture and cause corneal perforation. Instead of cyanoacrylate, you can give even you can take a conjunctiva. I'll just show you. Here you can cut the conjunctiva here and you can overlap it like this. Okay, and this is called as the conjunctival flap surgery. Okay. So soft contact bandage lens, BCL bandage contact lens also you can keep over this. And last option is penetrating keratoplasty. Okay. So treatment for non-healing ulcer, remove any cause, whether it is local or systemic. Try to treat the cause. Mechanical debridement of the ulcer with betadine or iodine is needed. Cauterization of the ulcer can be done. Bandage soft contact lens. So treatment of perforated, the ulcer has got perforated already. Then what you have to do, I told you already, tissue adhesives, conjunctival flap, soft bandage lens, and keratoplasty, therapeutic keratoplasty. Okay. If the patient is responding, don't change the treatment. Continue the same treatment. If the patient is not responding and the condition of the ulcer is still worsening, then only you change the antibiotic. Okay. So I told you what are the signs of healing already. So coming to topical corticosteroids is always controversial in treating bacterial keratitis. So where we can use that? Active infected corneal ulcer is there sometimes, but a very low dose daily, once or twice, 1 drop can be used. If the patient's compliance for follow-up is not good, if the no other virulent organism is found, then also you can use. So I told you that this is desmetocin. Okay, so for surgical treatment, tissue adhesives, small perforations less than 3 mm, you can go with tissue adhesives. So this is called as patch graft. You can see here, this is the patch graft and you have applied sutures here, right? This is patch graft if the perforation is more than or equal to 5 mm. Therapeutic ulcer keratoplasty, you can go for perforated corneal ulcers, non-healing ulcers, all these things we can go with therapeutic keratoplasty. So this is all about corneal ulcers. Do you have any doubt? Any doubts you have, you can just ask now. So still time is there. No doubts at all? Hmm? People are more interested in this thing, attendance, than